I want to talk about the 2020 congressional races again, very briefly. I told you last week I moderated a debate there are 5 candidates in the GOP primary in the district I live in, which is a congressional district in Texas. We had a Republican many years. He lost in 2018. We now have a Republican primary. 5 people running for that seat. Every single congressional race, first of all, I assume you know, every single seat in the U.S. Congress is open every 2 years. Not open, but there is an election every 2 years for members of Congress. Every 2 years. And every member of Congress must sit for re-election. That's just in the Constitution, thank God. But in that process of electing people to represent them in Congress, there are something like 73% of the seats are just owned by one party, meaning the incumbent is going to win or a challenger to that incumbent is going to win. The point is, it's not really like there's a robust debate of ideas in every congressional district around this country. There just isn't. There's party that owns a certain seat, and because of the way the seat is drawn, because of the composition of the constituents in that area. So in the areas where we have competitive elections like mine, we have 5 people running for the GOP primary. Every single seat, and not just in seats like mine, all 435 seats, that's how many people are on Congress, all of them should be a national election. Every one of those seats should be about a national election between, are we going to hold on to freedom, or are we going to surrender to Bernie Sanders and socialism? Because I have to tell you, folks, if the U.S. House goes Democrat or stays Democrat, or they increase the Democrat control, and if the Senate tips to Democrat control, and if Bernie Sanders wins because of these ninny never-Trumpers staying home and saying, well, I can't vote for Trump because I don't like his tweets. If you have Bernie Sanders in the White House, retain Democrat control of the House, and the Senate goes to Democrat control, we will be in a world of hurt. We will be in a dangerous, dangerous place in this country, because Bernie Sanders means it when he tells America in his debates that he is a socialist. He's a communist. He would happily put everything he wants to do in place while president, and as Barack Obama did when he put Obamacare in place, he intentionally made it nearly impossible to repeal. It was written in a way with entangled regulations and numerous interconnectedness between a variety of agencies, made it almost impossible to repeal it. This is what Bernie Sanders will do with every policy that he wants to push. He will make America socialist. This is the issue of 2020. Socialists are very happy to be in complete control of society, to take away your healthcare freedom, to take away your free speech freedom, to take away your religious freedom. They're happy to abandon borders because the ultimate notion of the globalists is worldwide socialism. We're the ones standing on the wall. We're the ones saying, no, we actually want a place where freedom exists in this world. That's what is at stake in 2020. And so if you are living in a district and it's a close district where you could possibly have a Republican take out a Democrat, could possibly have a Republican win a seat back from a Democrat, do not get sidetracked into discussing, the various picayune distinctions between the primary candidates and how you don't like candidate X very well because, you don't like his mother, or one time I heard this happened to him, or one time I heard he said this or did this. You got to pick your primary candidate, but whoever wins the primary and is the Republican candidate in every district in this country, knock yourself out to get them elected. Understand, this 2020 election, Bernie Sanders is popular. And it reminds me of something I want to tell you about that. I talk to people, I do a lot of public speaking, talk all the time. People are always saying, oh my gosh, Trump is going to win in a landslide. Trump's going to win in a landslide. What are you even worried about? Everyone loves him. Look how big his rallies are. People, I will remind you, Trump is popular. Many people on the Republican side who didn't like him so well in 2016 are totally on board in 2020. But understand, what happens in politics is that we talk to our own choir. You probably talk to your friends who also like Donald Trump, who are also supporting him and saying, yeah, this is great, what a great guy. Well, Democrats do the same thing. Democrats who, especially the Trump haters, which is mostly all Democrats, they talk to their colleagues. They cannot even imagine that Trump would win again. They saw his victory in 2016 as a fluke. I mean, Hillary won the popular vote, for crying out loud. They think that getting rid of Trump is a given. The Democrats think this. This is why Sanders makes them a little bit nervous, because he's so extreme. But I'm getting at the point, do not get comfortable, do not get cozy thinking, look how popular Trump is, and look at our unemployment numbers, and the economy is soaring, everything's great, of course Trump will win again. This election, the radical left has everything on the line in 2020. They finally become honest and acknowledge that their candidate is a Democrat socialist, and that's who they're going to put up in this 2020 election cycle. I remember back when Reagan was running the second time, so it was 1984, and I remember talking to a friend of mine who's very liberal, big Democrat, and she lived in California. She was telling me how she said something about everybody she knew, everyone she knew was going to vote for Mondale. Mondale was going to win. Everyone she knew was going to vote for him. And she said, I don't know a single person. And she meant this. She didn't know a single person who was going to vote for Reagan. And I said, I don't know a single person who is going to vote for Mondale. And I really didn't, because my world was people who think like I do. But I'm telling you, there are a world of people out there who need to have their eyes opened about what Bernie Sanders and a Democrat majority in the House and Senate would do to America. You wouldn't recognize this country in 4 years. Holding on to the House, winning the House back, having a Republican majority in the House, a Republican majority that can, because they hold the purse strings, they're the ones who can say no to most of what Bernie Sanders would try to get through Congress. Now, if Sanders wins, he's going to have a lot of executive orders, and you're not going to like one of them. But at least if we hold on to the U.S. House, we can block spending. We, the patriots, the people who don't want our country to become socialist. So I want to wrap up this segment by saying it's extremely important to get Republicans to turn out in this congressional race in 2020. You got to get behind whoever the Republican candidate is in your district, who wins the primary, whoever it is, no matter what you think of that person, you have to get behind them. Because we need to retake the House. We need to block the potential of a President Bernie Sanders doing to America what socialism and communism did to Cuba and Venezuela.